Hey, Justin and Cori, good to see you guys this morning. Thanks for checking in with us.
Good to see
Yeah,
you
no
too.
problem.
We are continuing our Zoom interviews with the Dancing with the Oro Valley Stars champions from the past 11 years. You guys are part of that prestigious group. You guys took home the trophy in 2016. So I have to ask you guys, how fresh does that win still feel for you guys? It's
You
been a
can,
while.
you can see back here. I can other way. Over there, I've got my trophy shelf there.
Yeah. That's one thing I always like to know. I'm like, where are the trophies? Are they sitting in a dusty box somewhere? Are they proudly displayed? Where's yours, Justin? I don't see yours.
Well, I'm actually using Eli's office because there's a door on it. I like to stand at my desk and stuff. Mine is displayed, and I even have the poster hung up in my office. So,
Hey.
yeah, yes.
All right. How about that? Woohoo!
And then there's my daily coffee going by here.
Look at that, synchronized drinking from the matching coffee cups. Hold those up to the screen again. Let's see those. That's fun right there from your
There
guys.
we are.
I love it.
Yeah, that's partnership. When you get mugs, matching mugs, that's partnership.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Well, in thinking back through all these years and reminiscing about your guys' year, it's funny because one memory popped into my head right away, Justin, and it's when I initially talked to you on the phone, and I can't remember. I think it might have been, I could be wrong, but it might have been Kim Jostad that gave me your name.
Kevin.
Could be wrong, but I remember
Kevin Cope.
Kevin Cope. Okay, yes, part of the Jostad family. So I was.
Yes.
Usually when I talk with somebody, there's a lot of explaining and, talking about the details and kind of like encouraging and persuading people. That didn't happen with you at all. I remember talking to you on the phone and I had barely said anything about it. And you're like, hey, I'm in, let's do this. And I said something like, what, you're just in like that? You're already telling me yes? And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, it sounds fun. I'm in. And I think part of your confidence came from the fact that you told me that you were part of a hip hop group in college.
Yeah. I went to Oregon State from 93 to 98. And my freshman year, I saw this OSU elite hip hop dance team. And what happened was I said, oh, yeah, I could do that. And the guy right in front of me, as we were watching, was like, no, you can't. And of course, being 19 years old, you're going to say, just give me the tryout sheet and I'll try out. And I'm not kidding. That happened on a Saturday night. That Monday morning or Monday at lunchtime, he comes into the commissary there and I see a piece of paper and he's looking for somebody. And I went, oh no, what did I do? And his name was Brian. He came up to me, handed me the sheet, and I was just like, all right, let's do it. So I ended up trying out and I made it. And then I ended up being on the team for 3 years, and it was really, really fun. We did basketball halftime shows, football events. Let's see here. And then like for the high school state dance teams in Oregon, we would do a routine while the judges were adding up the tally and that kind of stuff. We had a 6-minute routine, which was just, we were all sweating and just exhausted after that routine because it's 6 minutes and it's like,
yeah.
So, yeah. It was fun. It was fun.
So in comparison, 6 minutes, how long was your routine that you guys did for Dancing with the Stars?
I think it's 2 minutes. We couldn't go over 2
Exactly
minutes.
2. No, we went exactly to the very limit of 2.
Yeah. Well, I remember I asked you about that, Matt, because you had called me again, like, I think it was like 30 minutes later to see, are you really going to do this? I was headed home at the time. And I'm like, yeah. I go, why doesn't everybody say yes? And you're like, no, I have to coax them to get on there.
Yeah.
And then I started realizing, okay, I'm going to do this. And how long is it? How many dances do we need to learn? And you're like, just one. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, well, how long? And you're like, 2 minutes. And I'm like, oh, sweet. I was like, that's easy. Well, hold on. Ballroom's not easy, but yeah, I was like, oh, 2-minute routine, I should be able to do something.
Which leads to the follow-up question, like how different did you, there's a big difference between hip hop and ballroom as you obviously experienced. So how big of a shock was that to you?
Well, it was, but at the same token, dancing's about 8 counts. And
No,
so,
not in waltz. No,
no,
we got six
okay.
in waltz.
Well, maybe that's why I couldn't get that last part right there before the end there. You remember what I was struggling with?
Yeah.
We were rotating back and forth, back and forth. I just, for some reason, I couldn't get it down. But anyway, well, there you go. It was just, I was able to do something, and we did a really good job. And thank you, Cori. You were a wonderful choreographer and teacher.
Oh, I think it was great, and having someone who understood what lines means going into the show was really nice.
Oh, that helped.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
speaking of Cori and partnerships, in your partnership with Cori, she was by far the most experienced partner that we had at our disposal. And Cori has been, Cori, you've been involved with Dancing with the Stars from the very beginning, but it wasn't until several years into it that you actually made an appearance as a partner.
That's right. At the beginning, we just choreographed. So I choreographed several routines, but I didn't actually perform.
Yeah. So how many years had it been? I think it was you performed for the first time, I think in year 5 or
Something like that.
Yeah, you've made several appearances since, but that's
hence the trophy shelf up there. See?
Yeah, right. And you've done very well, obviously, every time. But Keenan and I were talking about this last night. We were saying, it's just amazing how many people are involved in making the show work. There are so many people behind the scenes that people never know about. There's choreographers, there's stage managers, there's tech people. I mean, it really takes an army of people to make this thing work. And you have been part of that army from the beginning. Being a consultant, you wore the consultant hat, the choreographer hat, the partner hat. You were, for many years, you were my link to the dance community, because I'm not a dancer. I didn't know that community, and you were my.
Yeah, you are. I saw you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you are.
That was my little foray into hip hop and living an unfulfilled dream that you've lived and I haven't. But I'm too old now. But
oh no, come on.
Never too old.
But Cori, what I'm getting at is you have just been a crucial element to the show for all of these years. And what keeps you coming back year after year, helping out with this thing?
I mean, what's there not to love? You're helping out young people, you're helping out people who are helping out young people, you're helping out dancers, and I love to dance, and I love to choreograph. It's been a blast.
Yeah. Well, one thing I love about you, Cori, is that you just make it so fun. And I'm sure Justin can attest to this. What you do really well. And you place that desire in other people's hearts to want to learn more about dance. You draw people in, and we just so appreciate your partnership over the years.
Thank you. That's my goal in life, is get people out dancing. So.
Yeah, well, you succeed in that goal for sure. So tell me about your guys' dance a little bit. It was technically it's a slow dance, right?
No, not at all. That's a Viennese waltz. It's a fast one.
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think when people hear the word waltz, they think slow dance, like I still do. But when people see your performance, I think they're going to be surprised at how energetic and fast it actually is. I mean, and what I remember about your guys' dance is there's almost like 2 parts to it. Like the first half felt one way, and then you switched gears, and the second part felt completely different. It was really awesome to watch.
Yeah, the judges actually gave us a hard time for that. Why did you put that in there? It's in the music, the drums come up and it's in the music. So the judges gave us a hard time about that, but I think it was a hit with the audience.
Oh, obviously it was. Yeah, it was like a Scottish tune, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's the chorus. Yep.
So much fun to watch, and just so that song just got stuck in your head, and just it was just an awesome experience.
I like to use the phrase, you guys had the goosebump factor. Yeah. And Justin, you mentioned it earlier of the lines, beautiful lines. Oh man, it was just breathtaking.
I was very fortunate, like you said, Matt, to have the best teacher. And I remember that Cori called me the first time, and she was sizing me up over the phone, and she goes, "Are you competitive?" And I almost fell out of my chair because I'm really competitive. And so it just goes to show she wanted to find out where I was at in this program, and then where to start. And from there, from the first day to the last day, was just amazing. I mean, I was challenged probably, what was it, about 8 or 9 times we performed our dance, 8 or 9 days in front of classes coming in right before, we'd finish right before the class, and there'd be like 30 people there that I didn't know, but here's the routine. You guys, this is like the 7th time you're going to see it. And it was very nice to do that. It was just, I couldn't thank Cori enough. So.
Yeah. Well, I was really appreciative that Justin was willing to pay attention to the details.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of times you say, put your arm up is about as far as you get, but we're going to put our arm up and we're going to adjust our fingers and we're going to put our arm up exactly how high and line it up with what. So that was really fun to work with.
Well, it really pays off.
Yeah.
It's really just been really fun for me to watch stepping into the whole dance world at a later date. You guys have done this for this is the 12th year, and stepping in and just looking back at where everything has come and the detail to attention and the desire to want to put forth your best effort. It just, every year it shows the dances just get better and better.
Yeah, what I think a lot of people don't know, looking back, when we started, we had a rule that you could not be a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And then we morphed that into, because we didn't have enough professionals at the time. So we couldn't have a professional up there performing with every dancer. So everybody had to be a student. And then we shifted to, okay, you could be a professional, but you couldn't dance the dance that you taught as a professional.
Right. And
then as we got further along, we ended up with professional partners dancing with the dancers. So I think that made a difference overall. Plus, then I think the people who are participating, the stars, also saw, look what I could do if I really apply myself. And so I think they tended to start pushing themselves a little harder.
Well, and in those early years, we had a 3-person team. So you had the star, you had the partner, which was the experienced dancer, and then we had a professional choreographer that was helping the team. As the show evolved, that extra choreographer went away and the partner became the choreographer.
Yep.
So, and Cori, you were really crucial in helping the show evolve to that point because you work with youth. It's one thing I love about what you do, and you put on the youth ballroom competition every year, which the show helps. Some of the proceeds from the show every year goes to promote dance in our community, and it's just been so awesome working with you in that. But a lot of your students have grown up, and they're like some of our go-to partners in the show. So you've raised them up from inside. It's been I love that aspect of things.
Well, and just so you know, we're still working at it. So we've shifted our program this year since we can't do our big group competition stuff, but we have our young kids are the more experienced dancers are still doing solo numbers. So we're doing that this fall since I don't get to choreograph for Dancing with the Rogue Valley Stars. We're doing that this fall. We've got 11 couples, teens and young adults. We're working on solo routines, and they'll be ready to step up and fill those shoes for being experienced partners in the future.
It's just a beautiful partnership, and I love what you're doing. I look forward to seeing that every year, and it's amazing. So yeah, good stuff. Justin, you mentioned something in your bio, and you've told me this as well, but being on stage and having that experience, it kind of created a hunger in you for that, right? I mean, you continue to search out opportunities for that kind of thing after the show, right? I mean, didn't you do you dipped your toe into the waters of like stand-up comedy a bit?
I did. One thing about being on that stage, and I saw the people out there. There's this anxiousness, but it's not one that reduces performance, but actually enhances performance. And then when you finish and you're like, okay, that's what I do. That's my product. And I'm bone this, but there's something that just my brain just goes crazy when I get in front of an audience. It's just like, I like it. I love it. And if I prepare as well as we prepared, then it's not a competition. It's just fun. And then I think what happens is the body expresses that when you actually perform. And yes, after that, it wasn't very long. It was about 1.5 years. And I can't remember what it was, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to do stand-up comedy because, that's what most people do. They just switch gears and say, hey, let's do something that's really hard. And I've done it twice. My first time, I had about 65 people in front of me. And I had that excitement again. And so when I went up there the first time, I got that anxiety because I never had anybody in the group laugh at me on purpose.
Yeah.
And so when I got that first laugh, it literally felt like 15 seconds before I could start talking again, but it was like 2. But I got that feedback from the audience, and things just went wild. The brain was going crazy, the body was going crazy. But when I watched the video, I literally counted. It was like, oh, that was like 2.5 seconds, but it felt like 15. So it's hard to explain if you haven't gone through it or something like that. But that's what I get when I get up front, when I get on on stage in front of people, and I feel like I've prepared well enough. It's a nice, I guess, dopamine drop.
Well, absolutely. And when you hear the cheering crowd, especially at the evening show for this thing, it's such a high. It really is.
Oh, forgot about
It'll
that.
keep you going for months.
Body experience almost. You're doing that thing on the, and I can speak to this because I did technically perform, and
You did great.
one of the
You were awesome.
didn't compete, but I performed. And I remember like hearing that feedback, and it was like an out of body experience. Like I know my body's doing it, but my mind is like it's hard to describe what it feels like when you get that feedback from the crowd and everything. So I can relate to what you're saying a little bit. Yeah. Well, you guys just did so phenomenally well, and it was such a pleasure working with you. And thanks for coming back and joining us on this Zoom thing, just to give people, a little glimpse into your personalities and your experiences. And, this year to raise money for Sparrow, since we can't sell tickets and do things at a live show, we are trying to raise money by encouraging people to vote, and they vote with their dollars. And as they do that, they can choose their favorite team to vote for, and the team with the most votes, will win first, second, third. So we are crowning some winners. So is there anything, as we wrap this up, is there anything you guys would like to say to maybe encourage or persuade people to choose you as their favorite team when they're voting?
Because he's so cute.
Me?
That's
You.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Hey, the dance routine and the song that was put to that was absolutely amazing. Every time I hear it, and then see it, it's just like, I did that, and it's just, it's crazy. I never thought I'd have something that was very elegant like that. And so I'll take every $5, $10 donation out there. If you give 100 to somebody else, just think $5 for us.
It all adds up.
It does.
Right? Yeah. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, and Cori has a little extra space up there for another trophy.
I do. I can move some things over there.
All right, you guys. Well, it's been really great seeing your faces and checking in. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Miss you both.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Keenan.
And we will be in touch. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Cori. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.